So we're still in Clovis, California, and we've got just a final video to come out and take a look to make sure everything's dried up. You can see a little bit of what appears to be moisture. It's not. It's discolored from water sitting on there, but it's dry. Same thing over here. This is where a lot of the moisture was because the copper piping from the original installation was rolling down this. It was pretty corroded. You can see the bolt is rusting away. That's the anchor bolt. It's in good shape though, but you may have some mold going on the OSB, on the plate, on this bottom of this stud right here, maybe over here. So if you want to get a product and roll it on there, spray it on there, just be advised, do not get any kind of material on the piping. Any kind of chemical on the pipe could eat through it, and then you got a problem. So if you're going to use a spray, you'll have to wrap it. I would recommend brushing it on something and just being very mindful of this piping because it's plastic tubing, you know, and you could melt right through the product. But, you know, it doesn't look too bad. So, I mean, if you're concerned about it, which, you know, as much as I am, then yeah, take care of it. Everything else appears to be okay. You know, we took out a piece of blocking. Originally it was in there that was corroded pretty bad. And now it's all PEX all the way up, PEX all the way down. One thing we did do is upgrade the strapping. We use PEX talons, which is, you know, that's the correct installation for this plastic tubing. You can use plastic 2-hole straps or PEX talons. Down here going through holes, we came back and pulled out the PEX talons. We just didn't like the way they were setting in there. And we got you some isolators. So this is a combination suspension clamp and isolator. What it does is it isolates the pipe from the wood. In the event that you get such movement that it bounces, when it hits wood, it'll cause noise, and we don't want that. So all 3 lines, cold water line has just a pure isolator. This is a combination of a suspension clamp and an isolator. Same thing on the top here, isolator. So all the 1-inch pipe has isolators in it. Hot's on top, cold's on bottom, return lines in the middle, which is the 3/4 blue, should be red, but we know it's hot water. And so every piece of piping, 3/4 suspension clamp, suspension clamp, suspension clamp, and then of course down there suspension clamp, isolator, 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 and isolator. So everything's strapped now, so there's no movement in this pipe, which I like. All the insulation is over in that box right there. One piece was so saturated that we had to throw it away. Some of it had rodent droppings in it, so we did throw it away. We pulled back down the insulation. This was all just kind of stuffed up into the wall cavity. So we pulled back down what is there, and so you'll just need to fill in below. There was, you know, a piece here, obviously a couple pieces, or maybe one full piece that went in there. And when we shoved this one up there, this was the bay, to the best of my ability. I remember this had a lot of rodent droppings in it, and this was shoved up in the wall. And what we didn't notice during demo is this little fella right here. That's a dead rodent. So I'll see if I can, you know, I touched it already, and I'm going to need to wash my hands because it's been there a while, but you don't want to leave that in the wall. I'll see if I can find something that I can grab it with and toss it for you. And then, is it the only feller that's in here? I don't know. You know, he got in somehow, and then what I'm guessing is he got down here, couldn't find a way back out, or I don't know what happened, and he didn't make it back out of there. So there he sits, right there. Anyways, when we cleaned up in here, we swept out all the rodent droppings and all the debris, you know, all the flakes of wood that were down in there. So it's pretty clean. So everything's dry. We tested all of our fittings again. That's what we came back by for, to make sure that we've got no leaking in here. But the time to determine if you have any leaking is while the wall's still open. You know, otherwise you button it back up. Some years, you know, days, months, weeks, years go by, and all of a sudden you've got water again, and you've defeated the purpose. So now your pure Uponor piping, point of connection here. You know, this is all new piping down. Point of connection there on the hot, the red. That's all new, and then of course point of connection here on the hot. This is the return line, the middle one, hot line over here. So that's all new piping, all the way over to the Navian that sits outside, and gas line's all new. You know, except for this piece that was existing to the installation. It was just pointing the other way. So that's all good. So anyways, thumbs up on insulating and sheetrocking. Keeping in mind, it's nice that the wall is insulated. And also, while I was up in the attic, I noticed that the ceiling is insulated as well. So that's great because it keeps it nice and toasty in here in the wintertime. It's not required. That is not required to be insulated. But they sell, this is R19 insulation. They sell them in rolls or they sell them in bats, which means probably they're going to be 14.5 wide by 5.5 thick by 8 foot long, which is a standard, walls. You've got 10-foot ceilings in here, it looks like, but normally they come in like 92.25 inch lengths because that's typically the height of this bay right here. So it's R19 insulation in a roll. Again, you can reuse some of that over there. Take a look at it and see if you want to. I recommend you having goggles, a particle mask, and gloves when you touch that stuff. And keep the kids away because that stuff's real nasty. You breathe that stuff in, gets on your skin, and you got trouble. So anyways, that's what we've got. That's what we wanted to do today. The homeowner was kind enough to let us come back in and after we've been here a couple times since we've installed this, just to monitor it and make sure that you're good. Sent you a referral to a drywall contractor, an electrician, so you're good to go. We're going to sign off on this. Everything looks good. Outside of that, this installation is done.